real property tax increase that stands before us. We do not have an agenda item. We approved an 85-cent rate 1st of July. That's where it stands. I think there's a whole lot more information that we need to look at besides the real estate side of it, because the real estate tax affects way more than real estate. It affects the composite index numbers. It affects the money that comes through the public service corporation. The biomass boiler is taxed by the state corporation commission, but it's taxed at the real estate rate. When we lower the real estate rate, we lose money on the biomass boiler. So if we lower it, then we need to figure out how much are we losing, because I don't think we need to go into a negative number revenue.
We lost, what, 200,000 last year on the biomass? Do you remember, Kathy?
Well, not just on that, but on the entire public service. That was the amount. Let's see, from,
Yeah, that's just a part of the public service.
right.
The biomass
because
board,
there's,
yeah.
you know, the
But this is a major
menu
part.
and plumbing gas, there's a lot of different things, all of your cell phone and all of that. So I don't know how much was just on the biomass boiler.
Total for the last fiscal year. Do you remember off the top of your head what that loss was? Service Corp overall, not just bio.
Well, for fiscal year 21-22, we had a ratio of 89.5%, and the total tax amount that we received was $2,146,057.73. And then 22-23, our ratio went down to 76.6, and we got $1,853,377.84.
And your estimated 23-24 is 65.4%.
Yeah, well, that's definitely what, you know.
65.4 is the right ratio.
Yes, that's what
But
we
you can only
applied.
estimate the loss right now. You
Right,
can't
because I don't
estimate.
have
And
the
you'll get
information
those-
from the
You'll get those
SEC.
soon.
It should be coming soon.
So the total real estate value increase was $463,000. The assessors, when they finished, they had lowered it by 10%.
Yeah, we
So
started
the
out,
10% decrease
right,
from the
10%.
assessment.
Yes. Based on the assessor hearings, it went down to 19.41%.
So when we're looking at the difference in the composite index, we're starting to look at school funding. What else is based on the composite index?
Schools are the biggest.
Schools. Baby, you know anything else that's based?
Schools would be it on the composite index.
But
That's their state funding source.
when we lowered that tax rate, we're going to see a difference in the composite index, which will keep us from getting as much money as we do now for the schools. Is that right?
That would be correct.
So there's another loss. So as we start adding all these losses up, it's not going to be long before we're in the hole. 463, and then with if you take it down to 72 cents, the value of the public service corp will be $255,000 less. So that would be $300,000 in the hole if we reduce this to the 72 cents. And you just said you don't need to go to 72 cents. But there's not a number I see that we can go to that will keep us in the black in the revenue as far. We have revenue coming in, but we have a lot of needs. We've got $300,000 containment tank at the sewage treatment plant. That's a result of us kicking the can down the road for years on the wastewater treatment. Now that we have overflows over there in heavy rain, DEQ comes in and gives us a smack on our hand, used to give us a smack on our hand, now they're gonna fine us.
Consent order.
Consent orders, we've got to get that fixed, and we've got, what is that, $3 million project?
6 to 8.
8 million.
Is that much now?
8 million total.
So, you know, those things are going on. There's a lot of high dollar expenses in the city. Anything that any reduction, I think, in the tax rate will keep us from being able to continue to give services. We did, well, how much pay did we do this year so far?
In the 2023-2024, we have budgeted about $600,000 for paving this fiscal year. Last fiscal year, we were in the ballpark of $600,000.
And we did all that at the end of the fiscal year.
We did that at the
There was
end
no
of this.
payment done before May
Correct.
of this past May.
Correct.
Before that, we went 2 or 3 years, we didn't have the money to pay. We put $200,000 in the budget, and then we didn't have $200,000 put in pay. So then people come and say, we need paid, and you can't pay if you don't have the money. We almost lost 8 or 9 employees to Allegheny County because they increased their pay to the point that we had 9 people go down there and put in applications.
Correct.
So we had to raise the pay of our public works people to keep
Entire city staff.
all city staff.
We
had
addressed that
pay raise.
in January of this past year.
And they're paying the same price as I'm paying for groceries. They're paying the same price as I'm paying for gas. They're paying the same price as I'm paying for insurance increases. And we cannot keep employees if we do not compensate them. The state of Virginia has given the schools 2% for teachers. Is that right? And then we need to match 2%? Is it a 4% raise with a 2% match?
Well, not necessarily, not necessarily.
But that's just for, what's the word?
That's a key
That's a
position,
position.
but we rarely just give a raise to a certain portion of our staff.
Right, you've got to give raises to everybody, and that state raise only covers the
That is
compensation to
correct.
top board people.
That is correct.
So then you've got bus drivers, you've got
Right.
custodians, you've got kitchen staff, maintenance people. None of them are covered. Secretaries, administrative, none of that's covered. So we have to come up with our share of that, which is 20-some% usually of the total cost. The county has to come up with the rest of it. So we're seeing a lot of increase, and we can blame COVID all we want, but it's the result of a lot of COVID that we didn't get the equipment we needed, we couldn't get things moving, and it caused prices to go up. And that's where we're at. Rob left, but he mentioned Bidenomics, and that's, you can love him or hate him, but he's caused some of our financial problems.
There's been a lot of city cans kicked down the road through the decades.
Well, when we talk about the containment tank, that's been going on since the 90s.
Well, we got a major problem at the water plant too, as far as it needing upgrades.
We need to do some work there. So,
Bad.
we've got a lot of places we need to spend money. And the only way we can continue to give the service we give now is to have more money.
Yes, that's right.
That's my concern with it. In my heart, we need to take it down. But then, on the brain side, what do we cut? You know, that's the other side of it. And still, we don't know, Kathy, exactly what that loss in public service corps will be.
No, because I haven't received it yet. That's an estimate based on last year and the ratio going down to 65%. 65.4.
And if we leave it where it's at, the ratio will go back up. Can you explain that to me?
Well, that's based on your reassessment. By law, you were supposed to be at 100% of fair market value. So, over 4 years, we've gone down. At our last reassessment, we were at like 97%. but over the 4-year period, now we're at 65.4. Whenever you have a reassessment, it's supposed to bring you close to the 100% of fair market value. So that's what it should do. But that won't be this year, that'll be next year.
And when it goes back to 100%, then we see a significant increase in the money that comes in from the public service corps.
You should, yes. But it also depends on what the public service corporations do. If they add new equipment, you might see more. If they get rid of things, you might see less. It all depends on that, and they depreciate every year also.
And the public service corp, the public service corporation comes in and assesses that equipment every year, or they do the combination formula to get it.
They have people that come out every year, yes.
And that's why we see the percentage change every year.
And I have to do a ratio study every year for the state
Yeah,
that shows what real estate is selling for based on its assessed value. And anytime a property sells higher than it's assessed at, your ratio goes down. They should be selling equal to keep you at 100%, but if they sell high, then your ratio drops.
And that's been an issue citywide over the last 2 or 3 years.
It's been
Properties are
issues
selling for a lot more.
statewide,
Yeah,
yes.
properties are selling for a lot more than what they're actually valued at.
it's a national problem, it's not.
We've seen more than double what they're assessed at,
Yeah.
selling in the city of Covington, yes.
And that's what the assessor, well, we're seeing them selling double. Then he goes and looks at the properties around you and values them at what something sold for.
He does a sales study,
Yeah.
and then he has to determine his rates based on the sales study.
When they put the Chevrolet garage in down at Walmart, that property that they built that building on sold for a few $1 million. And when he saw that, everybody down there's taxes went up 60-some%.
Yes, it causes all similar properties
Yeah,
to
so everything in
increase.
that mall went up 66% several years ago when they built that dealership.
Yes,
And it's just because of how much they paid for that lot.
right.
So,
And we're still seeing it. I mean, it may eventually level out, but right now we're still seeing property selling a lot more than they're assessed at.
so as interest rates go up, you'll see properties stop selling. And eventually it'll come down because people aren't selling for what they want to get out of it. I see a lot of for sale signs in front of houses now that are staying there for a couple, 3 or 4 months, where it used to be when they hit the market.
It was 24 hours, yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing to buy, that's the issue too.
Mhm. No stop.
So they grab, whatever's out there, they buy it, and they pay what they're asking for.
We got to make a decision on that tonight.
Well, it's not really a decision. If we leave it at 85 cents, we don't have to do anything. Because that's what it already is. Is that right, Mark?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to see the paperwork where you see how much we will lose. At the end, at the end of,
At the end of it.
when you see an exact dollar amount that we lose if we,
When are you gonna get your real figures, Kathy?
Well, public service usually comes in September, but I have no idea. But my real estate book is due by October 1st.
And this is real estate.
And what did you just say?
What-
I was passing papers.
My real estate book is due to the treasurer by October 1st, but as far as public service, sometimes it comes after that. I don't know when it'll come.
I was asking. her when
It could come anytime. Sometimes part of it, one year I did part of it And I had to wait the supplement part of it because it came late.
But you gotta have it ready December, or before December.
October 1st.
October first, yeah.
But
I have to have my book completed.
I know we've got a lot of expenses. We've got, but it's, you know, it's not just taking into account how much my real estate went up in my house. Mine went up 29%. And I've just not taken that into account because when I want to cut that 29% increase down, and I go to 72 cents, then I gotta remember what it's gonna do to the Public Service Corporation, I gotta remember what it's gonna do to the Composite Index, and there's other things that are, it's a trickle down.
The domino effect.
Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, the formula is wrong for the Composite Index. The Composite Index rewards you the higher your taxes are. If you go to Fairfax and see what they got going on up there, they got brand new schools all the time. Because their composite index and their tax rates are so high, they're getting all kinds of money from the state. We down here with no money, we don't get any money because they get it up there because they got a higher composite index. So, we've got a lot of people too. It's still, we don't have the money. You know, they've got money, we don't.
They got money because they got the people and they got the job.
So why,
And they
I'm
got the
not,
community is fine.
we can't talk about this like we're doing this, that's against.
Mayor, may I speak?
No, ma'am, we had a public hearing, you could have spoken then.
But we hadn't heard all this stuff before we had the opportunity to speak.
It's all public information.
It is,
Yes, ma'am.
but not once have you said anything about your older people in this community. All these plans that y'all make, you forget we have to pay the same thing that you pay, but we're not entitled to the raises and the percentages that go along with it.
So, Mr. Hunter's seat will be up next year, and that would be your district. So you're more than welcome to run for council. You're more than welcome to come to every meeting we have. We never see more than 2 people in here, 3 people at the most. Nobody comes and hears what we talk about any other time. But then they want to come in and tell us what we're doing wrong, and we're doing what we've got to do. It's just the way it is.
I'm not telling you you're doing it wrong. I'm telling you that nowhere have you considered your elder population.
Ms. Terry, I think about the elder population. Now, everybody up here has stressed over how much this is affecting our community. I'm elderly. I draw Social Security as the only money I get. Raymond, only money he gets Social Security. Lance has to work an extra job because he gets Social Security and can't afford to live off of it. So we know what it's like to be elderly drawing Social Security. This end of the table does.
Yeah, thanks for that, yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all are young.
I sell firewood.
Fred sells firewood, maybe.
I got 3 jobs.
And Dave worked 3 jobs. But, you know, you got anything you want to say? I know where we're at. I know what we need to do. I will not. Anybody on council can make a motion to reduce the tax rate. I won't be in favor.
I don't see how.
You can't, you got to.
If we reduce it, then do we reduce police patrols? Do we reduce manpower for EMS?
We can stop picking up trash, maybe.
Go to every other week trash pickup and get rid of
Hey, we've
pay.
got a plan.
It's hurtful to do.
Kathy, have you People over
I
65,
was gonna say
would you
that.
tell us about that?
I had talked about, mentioning that or bringing that to you tonight, but I don't have it ready yet, but we do have the tax relief program for people who are 65 and older or total and permanent disability. And I am going to come to council either next month or October, November to request that you make some changes to that program. Right now, we give $200, that's the max that we can give. I'm going to probably request that that be increased and also increase the income and net worth levels some on that. One reason is a lot of our people who were eligible this year, because of the large Social Security increases, it's going to take them out of the program. And then also with the increased tax with the reassessment, that would help people to make some changes to that. So I am going to do that in the next couple of months. I just have to get it
For
ready.
those who may not know what that is, can you give a quick overview of what that whole program is?
Well, basically it's tax relief for the elderly and disabled. You have to file with my office during the month of February each year. Anybody who's already receiving it, I send them an application and a letter, and then we also have people that come in during the year and request that, and I send them an application. They come in during the month of February, they have to bring all of their proof of income, their Social Security statements, pensions, wages, bank statements for the prior year as of the end of the year, and we fill out the application for them, and if they meet the requirements, which I don't have it with me, but right now I think it's 40,000 income and 80,000 net worth, then they are eligible for the next fiscal year as of July 1 to receive the discount off their taxes, and the most right now they can get is a $200. So $100 comes off the first half and $100 off the second half. But we can.
That's now, you will increase that.
Well, I'm going to ask you
You'll ask us to increase
to
it.
increase it. Yes. I'm going to come before you in the next couple months with ask for some changes to that.
And it's not hard to do. I did it for my mother when she was alive. I filled out the paper, and it's nothing to it. You just go fill it out. And
We
you get the
fill it
discount.
out
Yeah.
for you. I mean,
Yeah.
we fill it out, and
I took her, brought hers down here.
Yeah. they just come in and we'll fill it out and, tell you right there if you're eligible or not. And we also have a brochure that tells you about it. And I have taken it around and handed it out at churches and different places so people would know about it. And it's advertised in the paper also. Is there any other questions about that?